So I rise very briefly, also aware of the hour, to offer Green support for the Noble Lady Baroness McIntosh of Pickering's amendment. And I think what we're talking about here is a cost-benefit analysis. And some of the costs I'd focus on and the impacts which go beyond the narrowly medical impacts of the people who consume the water, to the question that I raised in committee of whether people will actually now do consume tap water or will continue to consume tap water. And the point I made then was that 90% of people drank the tap water in 1978, and that figure had fallen to 73% by 1998. And I don't believe there's detailed national figures since then. And I thank the Noble Lord Kamal, for writing to me in response to that debate, providing a set of figures that the government had on research around this issue. And I'll just note two of the figures that the Noble Lord cited in that letter, one of which was a 2010 Ipsos Mori survey in the West Midlands, I believe it was, showing that 2/3 of people supported water fluoridation if it was going to improve dental health. That, of course, shows that 1/3 of people are not supporting it. And this is the group that I'm concerned about, a group that I've encountered many times in many parts of the country. I don't agree with many of their concerns, but this is a fact there. And indeed, I noted the Noble Lord, the Minister, Lord Kamal, also cited a North East survey from 2021, where 60% of people lacked water fluoridation. What we're talking about here, as the Noble Lady Baroness McIntosh of Pickering said, is something where people don't have a choice about consuming that water unless they choose to buy bottled water, which anyone going to a supermarket in Sheffield, particularly in the poorer areas of Sheffield, will see people buying bottled water in very large quantities. And one of my concerns, and where I think the cost-benefit analysis would hopefully come in, is looking at the sociological issues around this. The fact that I think the government should be actually doing a great deal more to promote the consumption of tap water and to discourage the use of bottled water, but that this current, as the bill currently stands, risks pointing us in the opposite direction. And also, just very briefly, the Noble Lord's story in the committee debate talked about how Liverpool City Council had very successfully engaged in a targeted program to address the most vulnerable communities and ensure that dental health was improved, and it demonstrably was improved. And the Noble Earl, the Minister, then said, oh, well, any local authority can do the same thing. I would, of course, point out to the Noble Earl, the Minister, that local authorities' budgets are enormously overstretched, something we've addressed in the social care elements of this bill in particular. And would the government consider perhaps taking the money that might be spent on fluoridation and giving it to local authorities for targeted campaigns to reach the children that need it most?